Welcome to Ask Ms. ERP. The topic of this video is what to ask for in ERP RFPs. Hello everyone, Ms. ERP here. In the previous video, I talked about ERP demos and what you should be asking for. If you did follow a thorough evaluation process, then there should be only a few candidate products that you are considering. Some people combine the demos with a request for proposal or RFP, but that would not be my recommendation because an RFP is a lot of work for everyone involved. You have to create the RFP, the vendor needs to respond, and then you need to evaluate the responses. By having the demos before an RFP, this should help eliminate products so that your RFP candidate list is short. Ideally only 2 or 3 products. And this is the time to ask exactly how they will be implemented. A product vendor may bring in an implementation partner to help them respond to your RFP. I would recommend doing an RFP for any sizable piece of work, as it will allow you to choose not only the best product, but also the best partner. So if you are upgrading your current ERP or implementing a new piece of sizable functionality, the concepts that I will cover here will apply. I will use the example of a new ERP implementation, as that is probably the most complicated. The more you can ask in the RFP, the more it will help you make the right decision. If you have spent the time to properly define your requirements, see video number 13 on that, and you have gone through an evaluation of product demos, see video 45 for more on that, you will be in really good shape for your RFP phase. You need to ensure that all your stakeholder groups are engaged and by the folks who actually understand the business processes and requirements behind them. As with the demo evaluation, while you are creating the RFP, make sure you are also defining your evaluation criteria and assigning weights to those criteria. The first questions to ask in any RFP is information about the bidder. You should ask for company information, their financial status, and client references. You will want to talk to the references as part of your evaluation, but if at all possible, use your network to find some other clients of this vendor, as you might get a more unbiased view that way. In my experience, provided references generally are those that will say nice things about the product or vendor. A big red flag is if they cannot provide references easily. The most important questions are around solution functionality and ensuring your specific goals are going to be met. You can use your requirements list for that section of the RFP to ensure that your must-haves are being met. There should also be a non-functional requirements section. I provided a list of these in video number 13 for things like security, scalability, and extensibility. One to note is availability, which should include any disaster recovery capabilities. How will the product handle any outages? Especially with a cloud application, you need assurance that the vendor has robust failover capabilities. Also make sure that you include any expectations around timing. For example, if you need to go live on January 1st of next year, or something similar. The RFP respondent should provide a project methodology. You should be able to see different phases of the project, such as discovery, data migration, system testing, user acceptance testing, mock go-lives, and hypercare support. A tip here is that there should be sign-off gates between the phases to ensure that one phase is complete before moving to the next one. You may have an internal methodology that you would like the provider to follow. If so, include this in your request. For a new ERP implementation, you will need to ask what their data migration approach will be. Unless you are a new company, you likely have existing data that will need to be migrated to the new application. You should provide some guidelines of your expectations of this in the RFP itself. For example, that you would like 3 years of summary financial information along with the previous year's general ledger detail. Also ask how will they deal with any open items, such as invoices or purchase orders. Will any data cleansing have to be performed? Even if they say no to this, I would recommend that you do so anyway, as it is like moving to a new house and you have an opportunity to get rid of some junk. A few questions that you may not think to have as part of your RFP, though they should be on your requirements list, are controls, reports, and integrations. What standard controls and reports does the product provide? What tools are available to create your own controls and reports? Are these tools included or an additional cost? And integrations are usually not given the attention that they need, which causes headaches later. You should list all of your required integrations in your RFP and ask the vendor how the conversion of these will be handled. For any enterprise application, you should ask what support and maintenance they will provide. What are the service level agreements for their support? In other words, what are the response and resolution times? How many environments do they recommend that you have? You may need more environments during an implementation than in your end state. At a minimum, you need production and 1 test environment. See video number 33 for more info on environments if interested. How often are patches and updates delivered, and how soon must you take them? Are they mandatory? What are their internal testing and acceptance procedures for these updates? And of course, there are the pricing questions. There will be one-time costs, such as creating a project plan, data migration, the implementation or upgrade itself, and possibly other one-time setup costs for things like disaster recovery or integration services. Definitely you need to ask about the ongoing pricing too. What are the annual or monthly service fees, and what is the fee increase schedule? Also ask for a ballpark pricing for consulting, as that may be required above and beyond the standard support offerings. Some less obvious evaluation criteria is around the process of receiving the response. Was the response submitted on time, and did they provide a cover letter and an executive summary? If you would like these items, be sure to ask for them. Did they answer all of your questions? Was the response provided in the order in which you asked the questions? It can be quite confusing to evaluate if they reorder or ad-lib their answers, so you may want to specify the format in which you would like to receive the response. One last suggestion is to have a section for either solution or methodology alternative recommendations. I have found it quite telling to see who is brave enough to tell you that you may have asked the wrong questions. This concludes the What to Ask For in ERP RFPs topic. There is a link on askmizerp.com to email me to ask questions or suggest topics for future videos. Or you can just add comments on any YouTube video. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks, and see you on the next video.